dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light. You have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and friends. We got a hot one tonight, a real good hot one tonight. Actually, on the heels of on the latter part of a couple of weeks now, maybe a week and a half ago, Coach Dee stated some things that raised a couple of eyebrows. We got her. She's pulling up the rear here in a second here. There she goes. Let's bring her in real quick. Hey.
Hey there, how are you?
Good stuff.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got a good one here tonight, man. Actually, as always, you said some stuff to raise a few feathers and raise a few hairs.
Oh Lord, what'd I say? The
Well,
truth?
tonight's show is brought to you by Taylor Kennedy Media, of course. And Coach D says Shann is still out. She's still slightly still under the bug, but she'll be back maybe on Wednesday. She'll be back on Wednesday. She's getting better. But good stuff. So tonight's topic, how some women lower their standards. Part one. I knew it was going to be one, so I just say, you know what, let's just do a part one. I invited Tammy to come on for part two. She had a mouthful to talk about as well. What you said was the bar for men is pretty low.
Yes.
You went on to say, if a man have a job and can speak a whole sentence, he can find a woman. So I started to think and I started to dig. But let's say hi to the good folks out here, see what's going on with them. Can you see that?
My screen's too far away. I got a new setup, so.
Like Martine and Al Sal's in there. Gentle Giant. Good stuff. What's up, guys? What up, guys? 1 second.
Y'all gonna see how blind I am tonight, because. There you go. Yeah, this set I might not.
And I've actually upgraded the studio, so I'm actually testing hardware and software live. That's the only way I could actually do it. So good stuff. So yeah, like I said, on last week, a week and a half ago, you were talking about how the bar for men are very low, and I, along with some viewers, wanted you to expunge on that and to dig a little deeper into that. So I said, hey, why not? Let's do a show on how some women lower their standards. I got my thoughts, but I want to get your thoughts on why did you say that, and what
Very simple, because as a trauma response, some women will take any man over not having a man.
Okay.
And everybody can be angry as they want, and I'm sure at least you can think of at least one person in your life who has a man who is no good for them. They know they're no good for them. They tell you they're no good for them, but they're still with them.
Exactly. I think you and Tammy were along the same lines here because she wrote a whole thesis in the invite page, and I'll paraphrase it here real quick for 1 second. Let me get to it. And this again, that's on the invite page with Tammy Gator, my partner in encouragement over in Memphis. So I'm paraphrasing here. She says, one sec. We can't choose people based on money and expect them to treat you like honey. Pretty much. She also says that she also said that society sees as the average Joe, she would have never settled for a pick or picked him out. In my opinion, this is settling for anything. And I just go throughout the show and pick out some things what she was talking about. But pretty much she's on your thought process for her. She didn't mention trauma, but she did mention that there's a ton of folks out there who's actually choosing these relationships and these horrible relationships.
Yeah.
And she made some great examples. But go ahead, finish your thoughts. Let me go through these notes real quick.
Yeah. So when I talk, I don't bring money into it because I know some amazing blue collar guys. I know some amazing white collar guys. I know some really crappy blue collar guys and some really crappy white collar guys. It's not more about the money, it's more about the person themselves. So
Right.
when you equalize everything, money, material things, all that stuff, you're looking at the person themselves. And some people, because of their relationship attachment issues, will choose people who um, it's an insecure attachment. Maybe they have a girlfriend, maybe they have multiple baby mamas, that they're not taking care of those kids, and yet they'll still have children with that person, knowing that they're already not taking care of kids they already have. So
Right.
they're unhealthy relationships, and they're sticking in those relationships because society says that you're supposed to have a man. If you don't have a man, you're nothing. You're
Well, let's
not
be
worthy of
honest
a
though.
woman.
I know you wouldn't actually throw the money part in there, but a ton of women do
Mm,
throw that in there. I
yeah.
finally picked up some of her notes, some more of her notes there. She said some women are starving to be in a relationship! Exclamation point. We all know that when one is starving, anything they find to eat looks and tastes great.
Hmm.
But after you've had it for a while and the belly is full, you start to see differently, and we see different. When we see different, we begin to feel different. We feel
Yeah.
different about him and being in a relationship with him because we choose the meal or man for a state of hunger or starvation.
True. And we also raise our boys badly. So there's this thing called weaponized incompetence. Like, how many women know of a man, you can tell them that something is in this particular spot, give them the exact same spot at the exact spot where it is, and they can't find it. And then the problem is women are doing 90 to 99% of the mental labor in the relationship. And if you're doing that much of the mental labor in the
Wait a minute, wait a
relationship,
minute, wait a minute. You saying the majority of women? Do you have
mhm,
a number with this?
you don't want the number, sir, because it don't like men look good. I'm being very honest with you.
Let's just say some, man.
Listen, if sexuality was not a choice, if sexuality was truly a choice, there'd be a lot more women who would be with women, because y'all aren't pulling y'all are not doing it for anybody anymore.
Okay.
Like, weaponize,
Uh,
like,
Okay.
men will actually say that they are babysitting their own children. That's not babysitting. That's parenting.
I'm sure
Like,
someone have said that as well. Now, come on.
no. Women, what woman have you ever said that you should babysit your children?
It's been so
Be
long
honest.
since my babies were
Be
babies.
honest.
So I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Not sure.
it's the bar is very low, and it can't get any lower, man. Like, when you
So my
add in,
question is,
yeah,
so think about it now. The bar is low. I'll agree with you on that one. But I like to say share responsibility here. We didn't just get here just by a man's.
no woman should raise a grown man.
I totally agree with you. But the decisions that these women make, think about this. I wrote a quote earlier today thinking about this topic, right?
Yeah.
And it's catering to actually I started reading Tammy's comments and whatnot, and I was like, wow, okay. I see where she's going with this. So the quote I wrote, I haven't even published it or anything. But when you think about it, a lot of women going after these toxic men
Mhm.
for money. For money. Think about it. Am I right or wrong?
You're wrong. The statistics do not hold up, because the vast majority of women are taken care of. They have their own places. They have their
I
own
get
jobs.
that.
They're
I
not
get
looking
that.
for
But
men for money anymore.
and that's the reason why I'm saying this, because the list that we spoke on a week and a half ago, what was
Hmm.
on your list, your top 3 list, had nothing to do with money.
No.
This is why I'm saying this. It had nothing to do with money. I know a ton of women who really and truly deal with these toxic relationships and stay in those type of relationships because a guy has a little change.
Mm.
Honestly. So the quote I wrote, he can be filthy rich and broke mentally at the same time. He could be filthy rich and broke mentally at the same time. But the average woman, and I say the average woman, she won't see that because her eyes on the prize or what she think is the prize. So she miss all the red flags. So that's how some of them get in these situations.
Y'all with the women are gold diggers. That's old news, sir.
I didn't say I didn't say gold
It,
digger.
it
I didn't say gold digger. But
statistically does
the
statistically
list.
doesn't
Come on,
hold
let's
up.
go back to that list. Let's go back to that list.
Okay, you want
That's,
the numbers? 86% of women are taking care of themselves. 86%. You're talking about
I'm not
16%.
disagreeing. I'm not
But
disagreeing with you on
no,
that.
the statistics don't hold up.
I'm not disagreeing
It's
with
the
you on
men
that.
going from the men who are homosexuals who are hooking up with
Why
women.
is it so hard to admit that some of these things are just some of these women are just making bad decisions?
They are making bad decisions, but you're talking about the minority, and it makes it seem like it's the majority, but it's not. It's a very minute. It's a very minuscule part of the
Out here on these
population.
internet streets makes it seem like it's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, well, you're missing the forest. You're looking at a
But
couple of
go ahead.
trees
I'm
and
sorry.
missing the
I
forest.
stepped on your toes. Go ahead.
Oh, can you bring up the comments? There's a whole pile of comments coming up, and I can't read them 'cause my laptop's too far away.
Let's try this again. Again,
Yeah,
folks, I'm actually we just implemented new hardware and software. I'm trying out here. Let's see what happens. Can you see it?
it's not on the screen.
There you go. Go ahead.
It's Marty Girl. He followed me for a bit, and then he asked for my number. I ignored him for the moment. He blurted out, "Take you shopping." Oh, what's that?
One more time.
Nope, I don't want to be. I don't want to date or involve myself with a guy who needs help. Yeah. Lanya, hi
What up,
Lanya.
Lanya
I
Blanks?
was just speaking to my daughter-in-law about shared responsibility and standards.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. One more time.
Hey Trent, I see a cups cupboard creation in the back. Gonna get you a red barn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll get to this cup cardboard during the break or coming out of the break. These are some wonderful things over at Cups Giving Hands.
I mean,
Good stuff.
move down. I think Mark has.
Oh, Mark joined us.
Yeah.
What up, Slash?
Grand Rising, Melanie people. Greetings to Princess Pal and Princess Coach D and Mr. Epic. And Lanya say, I see you're working on with that new equipment. Yeah. Okay, so let's
Good. Let's dig in.
talk about standards. So last week I was talking to a group of people, and we were discussing relationships and home maintenance within the home.
Mm-hmm.
And we were discussing where the premise was that both people have 40-hour jobs.
Right.
Okay, so that's the premise. So here's what happened. So they both have 40-hour jobs. They split the finances 50-50.
Okay.
So the woman who has a 40-hour job comes home from work. She cleans the house, she feeds the kids, she does their homework, she gets the laundry started, and does all this stuff. The man comes
What
home
did
and
he
goes
do?
to, yeah, he doesn't do anything. So he
Well,
told me, so he said to me, he goes, well, I'm the man of the house. I'm like, you're not the man in the house, sir. You are a partner in the house. You are not doing 50%. You're paying 50%, but she's also paying 50%. You're not helping
right.
with your children. You're not helping with the housework. You're not doing anything. How
So
you?
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah,
That's called shared responsibility.
yeah. But a
Everyone should
lot
get
of
their
that,
hands dirty. All hands should be on deck.
it's not happening, sir. Statistically, it is rare
I
for a man
understand
to
what you're
come home
saying.
and clean and help with their children.
I understand what you're saying, but I believe that all hands should be on deck. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this whole thing come from about, well, I'm greater than you type situation and all this. That causes a whole bunch of problems. It's called shared responsibility.
Oh yeah. Well, if you
It's
look
called
at
shared responsibility.
yeah, if you look at social media, you got some of these fools out there telling men that they're the man in the house and they're not supposed to do anything when they come home. Like, you're
I
not.
don't believe in that. I
And
don't
so,
believe in that.
yeah, it promotes toxic relationships, is what it does. And so you end up with people who have unhealthy relationship attachments to begin with from childhood, and then they go into relationships, and then they have all this influence from outside sources that causes it to become even more toxic, even more unhealthy, and more unbalanced.
Right. So let's get back to that list that we talked about because
Mhm.
those numbers was pretty good a week and a half ago. We talked about those lists. People are actually adding their list to the list.
Mhm.
And again, your list nor my list had anything to do with monetary things on them.
Oh yeah,
When you're choosing a mate or suitor or whatever.
yeah, because we've done the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to get these people to go and do the work on
Mhm.
themselves, to bring their own chisels. But if your list has anything monetary on it, like in the top two, you're in trouble, man. You're in
You need to
trouble.
redo your
And the
list.
person that you're bringing
Yeah.
and the person that you're trying to bring in trouble as well.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. Let's go over that list again. What was your list?
I
Top
think the
three.
top
Top
three
three.
were compassion, communication, and empathy.
And mine was compassion, communication, and self-care.
Yeah.
And self-care. I think Tammy's was communication, communication,
Yeah,
and
communication.
communication.
Mhm.
So, and that's what we fail at as society, man. We go into these things and this list. Oh, she has to have this. She has to have that chisel frame. She has to have that Coke bottle. I mean, come on, man. This
Yeah.
is where we're losing. This
Mhm.
is where we're losing at this age.
Yeah.
At this age, we're still losing because a lot of us still think superficial.
Right. Mhm. Like
Superficial gets you nowhere.
yeah, I had a gentleman who emailed
Right.
me out of without permission because he never
Uh-oh.
asked, and he's like, "You know, you'd be so much cuter if you dyed your hair." I'm like, "Sir, I've had gray hair since I was 15. It
Exactly.
doesn't bother me at all. It actually
Here's the
gives me
thing, man.
it actually
Folks,
gives me more
folks refuse to see
credibility."
them. Folks refuse to see themselves.
Mhm.
I literally sit on a podcast. Well, you know how I'm sitting.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's going on over here. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't
Mhm.
bother. I don't care what people think or what they
Oh, yeah.
see, not our limitations or whatever. But let's get to some of these comments. I see
Right.
Tammy joins. What up, Tammy?
My team called to say y'all be skipping the comments. Tammy said, "I truly believe that women and men are wired differently, but regardless of who pays what, relationships are about sharing. There are men who share, but there's also women who don't do anything." Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And what up, Brendan? I see you.
Should a man have any home responsibility if he's paying 100% of the bills, meaning cooking, cleaning, etc.? How many men are paying 100%? You know, so you're not going to raise any. You're not going to have any input with your children, sir, because you're paying a bill.
Wait, what did Brendan say? What did he say?
Brendan says, "Should a man have any home responsibility if he's paying 100% of the bills, meaning
I
cooking,
think
cleaning,
I
etc.?"
think he should have some type of responsibility, even if he's paying 100%. I mean, it's still share responsibility, Brendan.
Yeah.
Still share responsibility, and that's you balance things out that way. If he's paying 100% of bills, you knew what you were getting into when before you got in the relationship.
Yeah, if you want to be an old-fashioned man who's a provider and paying the bills, there's things that come along with that. So
Absolutely. Let's see what Sly says. Nice line, yeah.
I'll pull it up. Homosexuals must be universal numbers. Can we preferably get the number on FBA? It's FBA. Because modern women want to switch it up in dating and marriage. If they make more, you can't expect men to be traditional. What do you mean if they make more, you can't expect men to be traditional?
See, here's the thing. This is what I want folks to not focus on: the dollar amount, the money. I know it's gonna be hard for some folks not to focus on that. On both sides of the spectrum, men and women.
Mm-hmm.
That your list should not include your top two. Nothing should be money on it. Nothing should be superficial on that list, man. And when you go to when your list start off, well, she has to make 60 coming in or 70 coming in, and I'm gonna make 80 come whatever it is, you lost before you even started.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You lost before you even started. So when we start bringing on monetary stuff and yeah, it takes money to bring the world, turn the world, and all this other good stuff and all that. But money is put in its place when it's actually used properly and
Mm-hmm.
used the right way and not used as a tool.
Yeah. It
But
is.
go ahead.
It's people place too much emphasis on money and not enough emphasis on communication, respect, compassion, empathy, tolerance. People will drop somebody because they don't like the way they chew their food. Like
Exactly.
you know, is some of the things
That's just
that
why
happen.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like some of the things that happen is some things that you need to sit back and take a deep hard think about yourself. If you're getting upset over the way somebody choose their food, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship. Maybe you should be working on yourself more.
It's real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk. What Lanye say?
Oh, long you say STL females in between 30 and 45 are
St.
wearing that
Louis.
gray and silver weave. Women, not females, women.
St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis women. Say women, please. We say men, we don't say. How can a list not have money of some sort on it?
I get that, but people are using money as a tool to actually get what they
Yeah.
want, to control the situation and what have you. You can't tell me they don't, Martine. Like a lot of men go into the relationship. If he see that's what that woman's driven by money, he's going to use that against her in the end. I guarantee you.
You want to be in a relationship with who the person is, not what they have.
Exactly.
Things change. If there's like, look, for instance, if you're in Florida, they could have had a gorgeous mansion. That thing's gone now. Now what?
Exactly. And it goes back to the quote I wrote when I read Tammy's comment. He could be
Yeah.
filthy rich. He could be filthy rich, but more mentally and morally broke.
Yeah.
That means
It's,
you're gonna be
it's
bankrupt in a couple of years.
yeah, it's about who the person is, because life can come at you fast. The stock market can crash, a tornado or a tropical storm, hurricane can take out all the material possessions you have.
She added
But
on to
you're
that
going to
with
be that one person. If that one person it has a weak character, then
exactly.
that's not going to work. If that somebody has a strong character, they can rebuild everything that you've had,
Exactly. Exactly.
and you'll rebuild together.
That's right.
All right, good. What's Martine said? If a man doesn't know how to manage money, that's a problem.
That's a
Also,
huge problem.
I wouldn't want to have to work extra if I had a man at the house. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Because if you have a man at the house and you're working 3 jobs, there's something not working there, and I've seen that.
Can you
Because
get to
some
that?
people
That's
part of who they are equates to what they have. Yeah, unfortunately, that is for a lot. That is for
absolutely.
entirely too many people.
Thank you for joining us, Ms. Langford.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Mark again.
When women talk to their sister circle, they ask, "What does he do?" When a man talks to his friend he met a woman, they ask, "What does she look like?" Women put a price on it. Always have, always will. You know why? You want to talk to your grandma, sir? Ask your grandma why.
Dig a little deeper.
Because here's the thing: men are talking about, oh, women are like this, women are like this. Women are like this because our grandmothers have given us the word since we were babies. Grandma's the one who told you to have the hidden bank account that he doesn't know about. Grandma's the one who made sure that who told you to make sure you always have a job and not depend on him, because if he can't do anything, then you need to take care of yourself. Grandma's the one that told you to have the cast iron pan if he gets out of line. Grandma's the one that taught us about grits. You know, this is grandma. Y'all talk about traditional relationships. Grandmas were
So, hey, for the viewing audience, for the viewing audience, I really want to know what's on you guys' top 3. Let's go, Martine, Mark, Miss Langford. Top 3 list. What's on you guys' list? A must-have going into a situation, going into a relationship. A must-have for your mate. Top 3. Now, D, you give yours, and I'll give mine again for the folks that didn't get it.
Oh, compassion, communication, empathy.
Compassion, communication,
empathy.
and mine. The last one is self-care. I'm very interested. I want to see what they say. What top 3?
Y'all better not get quiet on me now, because I'll start calling you out. Y'all get chatty, and all of a sudden you can be quiet when I ask for your list.
So what was your comments on Tammy's thoughts on it? You know, she's gonna join us.
On what thoughts? Remind me.
Hold on one second. Let me get back to it. But I'm surprised that Martine mentioned money, because she's not even about that.
No, she's got a comment. She said that I'm not driven by money. Just want to be financially good. There are some guys who've not done well with money and will meet a woman with order and on her pockets. He'll try to and run her pockets.
That's where it goes back to that list, working that list last week, like I said, week before last. Week and a half ago, rather.
Why?
guys, you come up with this list. Those guys will work that list to a T
Hmm.
until they get you wrapped up. Then it's all hell gonna break loose.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you said, D? I didn't hear you.
I was sorry, I was reading the comments. But here's the thing. So when people are having conversations, um, with you end up with a representative for like the first 6 months. So if you see any red flags in the beginning, those red flags are still going to be there a year down the road. I
Exactly.
mean, if you're out to dinner and he's eyeing up every waitress and flirting with everyone he sees, that's not going to stop.
Exactly. His Tammy's comment on as far as the bringing in money into the relationship,
Yeah.
going for the money and all this stuff. She's saying all she's saying. She said if she's settling for the way them feel for the dollar bill, they're
Hmm.
settling for how the dollar bill makes them feel. In the end, it's open season on the players, and the players gonna get played.
Hmm.
Just like I said earlier. Just like I said earlier. So if you're going into any situation thinking about that mighty dollar, that's how it's gonna end. I
Right.
guarantee you. There's gonna
Right.
be an argument over money. There's gonna be a fight over some money. There'll be
Hmm.
a fight over some trust money, anything, all this stuff. I've seen a ton of these things happen in the last 3 years. When money come into play,
Hmm.
even if you got completely out of the relationship, they're coming back trying to get some of that money.
Yeah. Money
You
corrupts.
cannot fake. You can't just focus on money, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to take care of your daily needs and your essential things, everything, but
Yeah.
it's not where it's at.
Oh, Mark said my grandmother is that a snipe? No, sir. Talk to your grandmother. Ask your grandmother if she's still alive what advice she would give you if you were a granddaughter, and you will find out that she will give you different advice if you were a granddaughter than if you were a grandson. Uh, Martine said, order, compassion, communication.
Boom.
And Tommy said, can you bring Tammy's comment up? I can't. I'm nearsighted, so that's
That's
uh,
all good. Go ahead.
men, women, and children should share responsibilities. What we must communicate what we feel that we need, but are not getting. When he or she is all in, they will meet you where you are with what you need or have asked for. Yep,
That's true.
communication is very important. A closed mouth doesn't get fed, is the old saying, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
if you're not talking to people beforehand, setting up what your boundaries and expectations are before, then when you get into it, don't expect those boundaries and expectations to be
And this is where
respected.
these blurred lines come in, man. This is
Mhm.
where we talking about these lists. Man, some of these people lists are hilarious.
Yeah,
But you have to be mindful, folks. When you're making these lists out, make sure that you can actually reciprocate that.
yeah,
Or like Dee mentioned a week and a half ago, before you give that list to that partner, that potential partner, look really deep into that list. I guarantee everything on that list, you're gonna bring it back to yourself.
no. So
Be more
they're
work to be
showing,
done.
they got some lists. Brendan says drive, compassion, and loyalty. Martine says communication, self care, compassion.
Okay.
Martine, yes, I'll bounce if I see those flags nowadays. Love doesn't conquer all. No.
Absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely.
Gagne, transparency, respect, patience.
Now that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, we gotta.
I'll bring it up.
Well, that's a long one. I
There we
don't
go.
know if my top three matter. I've been married 35 years. When we met and agreed on keeping an open line of communication, being aware that we both need help at some point and letting the other person know this, whether it's in the home, on the job, or in the personal daily self care. We also agreed we're not getting married just to get a divorce. When we had a disagreement, people will disagree, but not liking how we choose can't be a deal breaker. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So you started off with communication right off the top.
Exactly. Very
Yeah.
important. Mark says,
My grandma's gone to glory. They gave game of the day from her lived experience. Not all grandmothers spoke from the same book or Bible. Sir, your grandmother spoke to you as a grandson. There's a difference. I guarantee you, if you talk to women what their grandmothers had told them, you'll see what the difference between what grandmothers tell their granddaughters between what their tell their grandsons.
so
And it's
let's
nothing
let's go.
against grandmothers; it's advice, women to women.
So let's dig a little deep into the lowering of the standards. I
Hmm.
have a totally different opinion on the lowering of the standards because it actually starts off when sometimes, let's just be honest and be fair, these women today, they're compromising themselves.
Mm.
They're allowing these people to, they're allowing these men to infiltrate them and to deal with them because they're looking at something totally different.
Mm.
They're not sitting down, communicating, they're not getting to know one another or anything. We're talking about grown adults doing
Yeah.
this.
Hmm.
We're
You're
talking
right.
about grown adults. This is why you see all this back and forth on social media. They fight, bickering back and forth because nobody's communicating.
Yeah.
They're talking at one another.
Yeah, that's true.
I guarantee you, if we open this forum up and we say, hey, everybody come on in and let's talk about these things, then they probably won't even know what the list is. They
Mm.
probably won't even think about compassion, communicate, self care, none of that stuff.
I don't know.
That
I
won't that
know.
won't be nowhere in their arena.
Oh, I guarantee you, I'm going to get emails about men aren't communicative. We don't need to talk. We don't talk about our emotions and like and I guarantee there'll be at least one email that has the word alpha in it.
I'm more than sure, and that's where
Like,
guys fail because you have to communicate. You have to express
yeah,
yourself. You have to. That's the only way you'll get across to her. That's the only way you'll get to her. That's the only way you'll penetrate her thoughts. Again,
yeah.
fellas, that's the only way you'll penetrate her thoughts by opening up. That's how you open her up. I was having a
Mm.
conversation with a friend of mine earlier today. I have more exes who are good friends of mine because it wasn't all about the physical.
Hmm.
It was more mentally and emotionally togetherness.
Right.
Yeah, the relationship didn't last, but it wasn't always about the physical. I could pick up the phone and call them.
Right.
Tell
You can
them,
try
hey, what?
this.
Go ahead.
I'm just moving my laptop closer so I can read the comments.
Gotcha.
Um, so Margetta, sorry, my apologies if I mispronounced that. Says communication, passion, compassion, patience, and compassion.
It's
Uh,
good stuff.
Martine, right? Don't ask for what you're unable to give it to yourself. Lanye, transparency, because in the beginning people want to live a lie to get you. They want to be what they are not, but you must
That's
continue
right.
that lie.
That's right. And we talked about this. We talked about this a week and a half ago, where I know I did it years ago. Woman, give me the list. I'm gonna
Yeah,
work that list. I had no intention on being with that woman, but I'm gonna work that list
yeah,
because she had something I wanted.
yeah. And Margetta says, I still to this day have my grandmother's cast iron skillet.
Oh, so she's agreeing. Okay.
Yeah, Mark, you got to work on your list, man. He said, feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. Define feminine, sir.
Oh,
I
he's
will,
gonna
I,
come back with a
I will
these.
wait for your answer.
Good stuff. So let's talk about the women that I'm speaking on,
Hmm.
how they lowered it, how did they get to that point where think about it, man. Let's just be honest and be fair. These days, if a guy texts back quick enough, he's a shoe in. If he's morning gorgeous, he's a shoe in. Why? Why?
What do you mean
Why?
if a guy texts back quick enough?
I mean, honestly, think about it. In today's society, if a guy give them half of attention, just a little bit more than the other guy's getting, he's a shoe in. He's a
What was
shoe in.
it? Nat, remember Nat Turner? Nat Turner was leaving his plantation to go visit the woman of his dreams, and y'all can't text back? Come
Exactly. Well,
on.
no, listen, my whole point is why does that make that guy text him back so quick special?
Because
That's how they get
he's paying
themselves
attention.
in these. I'm sorry, say it again.
Communication. He's paying attention. He's communicating. If
Yeah,
I
see,
send
that's
you a,
the same
if I
dud
send
that's
you,
actually doing what you want because he see that way he can get you. He's doing
no,
exactly what you want.
communication.
A
That doesn't
text
mean
back.
like it. If you're going to, if a woman sends you a text and you ignore her, she should, with all rights, block your number
You think so?
because he is not respecting her time. If she take the time to send you a text and you ignore that text and
So
we'll get back to it
you're
later,
telling me if you're dating someone, and with technology, text get lost or deleted or anything like that, and you don't hear from her for a whole day, you just gonna get rid of it.
sir, I have men drive 4 hours through snowstorms in Canada to visit me. You can't answer a text? Sorry.
Stop that.
I know my worth. And women know their worth. That's why when they do that, when you play games, women who know the worth will be like, "All right, next," because that's all there is.
That's funny. That's so
Men sleep
funny.
with who they can. Women sleep with who they want to.
That's what you say. That's what they say. That's what they
That
say.
is
That's what
that
they
is
say.
true.
That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Look like
You
Mark
all
came
think
back to you.
you're running the game. The games are different.
Mark came
We let
back
you
to you.
think you run the game. Remember, what is it? My big, great big wedding. The man is the head of the house, but the woman's the neck and can turn the head wherever it wants.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Oh, so what does Mark say? Princess Coach. Can you bring his comment up? Let's agree to dis. No, we're not going to start. Let's agree to disagree. A young girl woman has little to no understanding of what a woman 2 generations her senior. Ladies, please break down the gems you took from grandma. That does not. That was not the description. I actually defined femininity.
One more.
Margetta, someone told me once their father told them, sons and daughters, don't start doing anything in a relationship you aren't willing to keep doing. So basically,
Right.
whenever they entered into a relationship, they did the bare minimum and put forth very little effort, but can understand why they could not maintain a positive relationship. Yeah. What's the
That's true.
song, Trent? I'll start back at one. One, make your dreams come true. Two, what is that?
Wait, say
Oh,
it again.
the song. He goes through the steps 1, 2, 3, and then I'll start back at one. Oh my God. I was
Was that
listening to it yesterday.
Babyface? I think that was
Oh,
Babyface.
was it Babyface? You're gonna have to make me Google it.
Oh,
Alexa, play.
you talking about Brimy Night?
This is it.
Don't have me to start singing on it. Brett's Brimy Night.
Yeah,
Back at one.
yeah, that's it.
Shuffling songs by Chris Brown on Amazon Music.
Alexa, stop. Chris
That's
Brown.
funny.
Where'd she get Chris Brown for Brian McKnight?
I have no idea. I have no idea. So think
Alexa,
about
off.
it. Let's talk about the dating situation. Most dating situations.
Hmm.
How we're blinded by a person's pros and cons. Pay attention to the cons when we allow a partner to act negatively towards you in the beginning. 9 times out of 10, your partner will not change. This is what
Yeah.
I was talking about with them working this list. So if you see the red flag, but they're working that list, but you can see it,
Hmm.
oh, it's okay because he got a little change. Oh, it's okay because he got a 6 pack. Oh, it's okay because he's whatever, all this other stuff.
Hmm.
Know the
Yeah,
difference between the pro and the con.
that red flag at the beginning is gonna be a red flag at the end. Like
Absolutely.
people. And here's the thing: when you figure out what you're looking for, or who you're looking for, you
Right.
become very picky. Like if they don't have the compassion, they don't have the empathy, they don't have the communication, integrity, respect. If they don't have those characters, it doesn't matter if they have all the money in the world. It's still going to be a no.
Exactly. And honestly, think about this, ladies, and I'm speaking to the ladies, to this small percentage that these talking about this out there, these small percentage. When you ignore all those signs, that flag is getting lower and lower, along with your standards, lower and lower. Each time you ignore it, those standards are going down.
Yeah, and then you'll have people who will be the person that you want them to get you, and then once they get you, they will disregard all those things, and then you have to decide whether you want to leave or not. Because
Exactly.
it is healthy to leave if somebody is not being who they presented themselves to be.
Exactly. And I don't want folks to leave away confused with this when we talk about standards. I am in no way talking about monetary stuff. I'm talking about the core of a person. I'm talking about the core of a person. How does that person treat their mother? How does that person treat their family member? How does that person treat individuals, period. How that person treats himself.
Right.
How is he handling himself?
Yeah.
Because I was a whole snack out here years ago. I was a whole snack, treating myself horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't beat them off with a stick. But I wasn't
Right.
no good for any of them.
Yeah.
Got a couple of comments coming in.
Yeah. Martine says, oh, when you're constantly playing, it'll leave you all the way. What? It'll leave you all the way one. Mark says also, if I have to define feminine for you, we're sitting on the wrong seats. Sir, you're not. I know what feminine is. I am a woman. I'm not defining it for. You're not defining it for me. You're telling me what your definition of it is. That's two different things.
Let's get
Um,
to Brendan with the red
my list
flag. I
is my
said
list.
red flag.
Understanding would be my fourth. Okay, understanding is his fourth. That's good. Martine says she doesn't like games. I'll call it a dude all the way. Brandon said some people see red flags and think six. Some people see red flags and think Six Flags.
That's my
I like
nephew.
that is a good one. Nanya gave the name of the song. Thank you. I had a senior moment, forgot. Martine said, now I'll run from red flags and stay gone. If I don't accept that I've changed, I was young. Yeah. We change
Exactly.
who we are. People say that over a lifetime, we become 8 different people. So some who you are at 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 or 70 are very different things. The knowledge that you bring
Exactly.
forward in those years from your life experiences would be very different. If
Exactly.
you're the same person at 40 that you are at 20, something's wrong.
My life experience has taught me raising your relationship standards means that connecting with each other by giving your full attention, love, and effort,
Hmm.
which involves making sacrifices, caring for others' needs,
Right.
making others feel loved, and not taking others for granted. That's what
Exactly.
life taught me.
Hmm.
That's exactly what life taught me.
Yeah.
Looking
Life.
out for the other person.
Yeah. Life. Some of my life experiences taught me to never dim myself for somebody else. Because
That's a good one.
if you can't shine together, then you need to be shining separately.
That's a good one. Say
Yeah.
that a little louder for the people in the back that didn't hear you.
Oh. If you can't shine together, you need to be shining separately.
Pretty much.
Right? Because if somebody's and I see that so many times, I see absolutely brilliant women who are in the shadows because the ego of the guy they're with is so insecure
Exactly.
that he has an amazing woman who could be building with him. Instead, she's sitting back and you're like, man, look at what you have, and you're looking at
Here,
the waitress. Come
let's
on.
talk. Exactly. Let's talk about the former and the present, right? Talking
Mm-hmm.
about Romello, the former and the present. So this is how I lost as a younger Romello. My standards wasn't done with purpose. It wasn't purposeful at all.
Mm-hmm.
I had no purpose with the standards that I was putting before myself and introducing this to these women, the younger and the earlier years of my life, as far as Romello, going from
Yeah.
city to city and dealing with these women. It wasn't
Yeah.
purposeful at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the former, but the present, very purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I do is on a purpose, for a
Right.
purpose, for a divine purpose. But you talking about the younger guy? I was giving him the blues.
Oh yeah, I read the book. I wouldn't have talked. I wouldn't have talked to that guy. Oh my god. Mm-mm-mm.
Well, by the time I met you, I was a totally different character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally different character.
It is interesting to see when we look back at ourselves once we've done the work and what we've put up with in the past.
Exactly.
Like,
And
man,
that's
what
where the
was
reward is, man.
I
That's
thinking?
that's where the actual reward is.
Hmm.
Knowing and seeing it. Actually, to be honest, I was talking to Lanye earlier today. We're going over some things for the business. And I was doing my thing as I always do, talking to her. And I said, you know what, Lanye? And I was looking in the mirror at myself at the time. I said, I'm truly proud of Trent.
Hmm.
I am genuinely proud of myself, the work that I put in, the work that I've done over the years
Right.
to make up this older Romello. There's something
Hmm.
serious and something nice to see. But you always have to be proud of yourself, man, of your progress.
Definitely.
And
You
if
have
you
to be
do the
proud of
work, if
yourself.
you genuinely do the work, It's gonna pay off.
Always. The work, even if the work doesn't pay off in this star dazzling relationship, the
Right.
relationship with yourself.
That's the ultimate relationship right there.
Mhm. That's what you want to count on, because in the end, if you don't find somebody, you still have yourself, and if you're not happy with
Boom.
yourself,
Boom.
you could be the loneliest person in the world.
Absolutely. With a ton of money.
Yeah, like
With a ton of money and lonely. Oh, but he rich.
yeah. Oh, okay. So let's get
These comments are filling up. Huh?
Mark says, lowering a woman's standards from Disney expectations, 1% earner, 6 feet tall, six pack with no kids, which sounds like Dr. McDreamy, and he was tarred and feathered. Mr. Mac, he wasn't tarred and feathered, sir. He was realization that he was not ready for a relationship at the time, and he got therapy. He's actually been in therapy for months now, and I spoke to him the other day, and he's quite happy, and he's much different than who he was, and he's taking time off, and he found his dharma. So you know what I mean? It
Isn't
is,
that something?
yeah, like
Dr.
he,
McDreamy, that's good for him, man. Real good for him.
yeah.
Tell him I said hello.
Oh well, he, you know, it's not every person is supposed to be your person. Sometimes
Right.
it's just a person,
One more
and
time for the people in the back didn't hear you.
every person is not supposed to be your person. Sometimes it's just a person, and we meet people for different reasons. So you know, like I am ecstatic that he has found his dharma and he is over the moon happy.
That's
Maybe
good, man. That's real good.
that's
Did
what
you
he
ever
says.
charge him for that session or no?
No, and I pay for dinner, so you know what I mean. It is what it is.
Good stuff.
So,
Good stuff.
Martine, answer me this: if guys are so simple, why are so many of them still single? Why are so many of men still simple?
So here's the thing, though, and this is where my favorite Detroit and I we agree to disagree. Being single is not a death certificate at all.
Mm.
Not for me. Not for me at all. I'm speaking from my perspective, as far as male perspective.
Yeah,
Being single is not a death certificate.
no. Well, society says you're supposed to be with somebody, and people have gotten so acclimatized to doing what society says that being alone is you're looked down upon.
Yeah.
So you know, be single, be happy.
And 9 times out of 10, the person that's alone is more happier than two people together pretending on Facebook, pretending.
Yeah,
As soon as that live goes off, they're fighting again
yeah,
for the 15th time this week.
yeah. And can you bring up
Martine.
Marquetas? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's just because it's long, I can't read it all. 1 second. When women contribute to a relationship with men whose pants hang around their knees and men with women wearing hair bonnets in the grocery store, the world as we know it started on a slow decline. And
Pretty
here
much.
we are. I blame it all on sagging pants and hair bonnets in public. Yeah, no, it's not. It's
What
not.
is
It
it?
has
Do
nothing
tell.
to do with hair bonnets and clothing.
What is it? Do tell.
Because people talk about hair bonnets like women weren't walking around the 50s and 60s in curlers at the grocery store. You can pull pictures up and you can find it because it was very common. It's only not allowed now because black women wearing hair bonnets out are deemed to be lower class. That's very
I think a ton of this stuff
colonialist,
is because
very
we've
white supremacist.
I think we found ourselves here because a ton of folks have lowered their standards. And they go into these meaningless relationships. Again, they rush into these meaningless relationships.
Yeah.
And that, all hell break loose after that. After everybody stop pretending, then you get the real me. You don't like what you see.
Well,
Break up.
look at how children are raised. I'm a Gen Xer. Gen Xers were raised on trauma. We were neglected. Like we were
Pretty much.
walking around with keys around our necks. You look at school pictures and you see tons of kids with keys around their neck. There was commercials on TV telling our parents if they knew where their kids were. Like, come on, let's be honest about that. We aren't like hardy, or we were feral, and we raised our children to.
So what you're saying
Yeah,
is, in your opinion, it boils down to unaddressed trauma again.
yeah. When it
I
comes
want,
to
I-
yeah,
I'm
when
glad
it
I
comes
brought
to
that.
relationships, it is unjust trauma.
I'm glad I brought that up for the second week in my category as far as the conversation. Still sitting at number one. That one
The
show,
trauma.
generational trauma.
People don't like to talk about generational trauma within their families because it's still considered secrets, but we'll listen about it and then look back at what is going on in their families. It's real, it's out
Absolutely.
there. People will be in denial about it, but you can see it in your relationships. You can see it in your work ethic. You can see it in how your home looks. You can see
Man,
it in how
life
you
gets
treat your
better.
kids and
Life
pets.
gets better when once we start normalizing speaking on it.
Hmm.
Life gets better, man.
Yeah.
It gets better. We can actually open freely and talk about it and have a conversation without someone getting upset because they feel like you're calling them out. No, I'm just pouring a little salt in your wound. So we're gonna heal this together.
Yeah, this whole what's in the family needs to stay in the family is BS. It needs to come out of the family. Need to stop protecting
Absolutely.
people. If kids have learning disabilities, get them help. If I hear one more person say, "Well, I don't want to label my child," I'm like, "Ma'am, if you don't get your child help, your child is going to fall behind." Nowadays, early intervention is key.
Exactly. Mark
Uh,
says.
Mark said, "A woman thinking lowering her standards comes from a place of privilege. We meet people where they are. Men don't run like buses. Women settle all the time, sometimes with other women's husbands." Yeah, they do. That is true. And you don't think men don't run like buses? Please.
And
Tell me
Martine.
about someone you know who's lowered their standards, Trent. That's
One
from
more time.
Martine.
What did she say?
Martine says, "Tell me about someone you know who's lowered their standards."
Somebody I know
Hmm.
that lowered their standards.
That was a
I
direct
know
question to you. Yes, sir.
I know somebody very personal. I'm not gonna call their name, but he's a male.
Hmm.
I could call his name out, but I won't do that to him. Lowered his standards completely.
Bring Mark's
To
comment up, please. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
hey, cool. That's cool.
I want people to try to build a brother and teach him life lessons, dress him, talk him to going back to school, share his emotions, and shave his entire body. Sir, we have sons. We're not raising you. If you want, you date your mother.
He had me until he said shave his entire body.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole shave his entire body is, but that's,
But
yeah,
no, I get what he's saying. Though. I get what he's saying when he's talking about that. But that all that goes into a gentleman can meet and find a woman who will actually encourage him and bring out the best in him. But it only
yeah,
happens through good conversation.
yeah. But
Only happens through good communication and the dialogue has to be fluent, man.
yeah, but there's a difference between encouraging and raising. Because some of these men expect women to act like their mothers.
Oh, Mark.
You know, there's some joke videos on TikTok where there's grown men going to their appointments and they don't know anything,
I don't
or
see that's crazy.
the wife has to give him a picture book to go grocery shopping because it's like,
And you know what? You know what though? Most of these guys are playing dumb because most of
oh,
these guys normally want to feel needed. That's a problem in itself. That's for another story, for another topic. Most of the guys that's like that, they want to be needed.
well, here's the thing with wanting to be needed. You can, if a woman has asked you 10 times and you've not done it, the wanting to be needed has now gone, and she will do it herself or find somebody else to do it.
Or she's
Because
gonna
you
get
can want
Mr.
to be
Do
needed
Right.
all the time. If you want to be needed, then you need to do what wants to be done.
Right,
And that's
right,
the
right,
problem. That's the disconnect. Men want to be needed, but then if you get a honey-do list, they're not doing it.
right,
Remember the video I was telling you about the guy uh, was changing some light bulbs, and the wife asked him,
right, right, right,
was he changing light bulbs, and we stopped doing it.
right.
Well, even I cursed at that. I was like, it's I talk to people all the time, and like, I am sorry, I'm doing this relationship course, and
Yeah.
men, the
I
more
truly
statistics
believe
I
though
look at, the more I'm
things will
like,
get better.
God.
I truly believe things will get better for the sexes when we don't enter relationships about who's the boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
When we realize it's
when
a
you
partnership.
stop that, it'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I don't have to tell no woman that I was with that I was a man. I didn't have to speak that not one time. and neither one of my not even with you. I never said I was a
No.
man.
Insecure men do that.
Never had to do it. Never had to do it. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I have
Strong
one
men.
brother in particular who always saying that, and I'm always telling him like, yo, you don't have to do it that way. She's gonna feel you in the end.
Yeah.
You don't have to verbalize that you're the man. She know you the man.
Yeah.
That's a
People
no
do that.
brainer.
Like, I'm the man. I'm like, really? Okay.
It's a no brainer.
And
It's a no brainer. Let's see.
like
There, a couple
people,
of comments.
go ahead. Oh, I think I'm getting a cold.
Uh-oh.
Yep. And then they get upset when you do it yourself or find somebody else because they couldn't wait for them to do it on their time. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's that Mr. Do Right. That's that Mr. Do Right.
Yeah, Mr. Do Right. I am a handy person because my Greek stepfather, who didn't have sons, made sure we knew exactly how to do everything so
Right.
that we wouldn't have to depend on a guy. I will ask somebody to do something. I will ask you 3 times. If after the third time you don't do it, I don't have time to wait around for it to hit your priority list. It needs to be done. I will do it myself.
Right.
Right?
So back to this lowering the standards. I
Mhm.
think we're on two totally different spectrums when it comes down to
The standards.
with these women lowering their standards. No, I'm talking about we're on the same
Yeah.
page with the list.
Yeah.
But I truly, and I'll stand for that. I'll stand 10 toes down on that. It's a shared responsibility when we talk about standards. So
Oh yeah.
if you're in a relationship and you all of a sudden fell out of love and all this other stuff, 9 times out of 10, those red flags were fluorescent lights
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Mhm.
But with each time you passed it by because he has a nice car, he's got a little money in the bank, has a nice little savings, you lowering your standards.
Yeah. He's a sweet
And why
talker. Yeah.
exactly, and while you lowering your standards, the disrespect gets higher and higher
Yeah.
and
Because
higher and
because
higher.
boundaries aren't being respected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. It's
So it
you
boils down to just like Tammy said. Her 3 on her list was communication, communication, communication. With all that communication, there's
communication
no
should be
room
in everybody's top 3.
exactly. Exactly, man. Exactly.
And
But we're definitely gonna do a part 2 on here because Tammy had a mouthful, and I think you guys on it together
oh yeah,
would come to some great understanding.
I
Go
agree
ahead.
with you for the most part. Um, 1 second. What's Mark saying now?
You got him? Didn't even
No.
pull it up.
Can you bring it up? So one of the panelists said she'd encourage her brother to get waxed, and the other expectations I expressed 6 figures, 6 foot with a 6 pack. I see and hear many a woman trying to build a brother. What do you mean
He's,
one of
ta-
the
he's,
panelists? You must
he's,
be.
ta- no, he's talking about Shannon. She's always
She's not
saying
here
that.
to defend herself, sir. So we don't do that. You can ask her that when she gets back.
She'll be back on Wednesday.
Yeah. And I see and hear many a woman try to build a brother. Yeah. And unfortunately, you can't build somebody if they're not building themselves. That because you can't build on a sand foundation.
And you know what? We should actually lead into part 2 of that. I did a show years ago on a conversation platform many years ago, maybe like 2012, 13, something like that. You can't build a man.
Mm-mm.
You cannot, and again, for men, you cannot build that woman. You
No.
cannot build that woman by throwing money at her. You can't do that. You can't do that. There's gonna be a flaw in that build.
Oh yeah.
We'll add
Oh,
that to part 2 here. But that's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
people are building
Hopefully,
and not getting permits
That's
checked.
Martine gets the last one. What time is it? Oh, it's straight up on 8 o'clock.
I have 9 o'clock even.
Okay, gotcha. Martine gets the last one for the night before we get out.
Oh, Martine says I'll. Oh, my battery's dying. Oh. Martine says it remains. I'll remain solo until I meet a guy who's bringing balance into the union. Yeah,
Exactly.
and
One
I
more.
think that's what I said last time. If nobody has to say that they're bringing peace because they're peaceful to begin with. Mentioned and discussed in previous shows and topic, we all know someone from a family or friends that are dating or married to the wrong mate, settling and or lowering their standards. Yeah. I
That's true.
would agree with you, sir.
What?
Yeah. It's the end of the show. He can't mess it up now, sir. He's good. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, let's get Lanya out of Missouri.
All right.
Cubs
True
cops.
trend. A lion never walks through the jungle telling the other animals he's a lion. They know it already. Yeah.
Boom.
You know, it is what
Boom,
it is.
boom, boom. Good
Um,
stuff. Good stuff.
I always tell when it comes to relationships, when it comes to standards, um, don't lower any standards because somebody, if they have 9 out of 10, and that 10th is a deal breaker, it's a deal breaker.
Gotcha.
Right? You have to understand with your list what are deal breakers and what are acceptable. Like if you
Exactly.
can handle somebody who throws towels next to the hamper, understand that they will be throwing towels next to the hamper for the rest of their lives.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
So my teachable moment for tonight, before we get out of here,
mhm,
focus on your list, man. Your top 3 list, and goes back to last week, like Dee said. If your list on the top 3, any of those items that you choose and pick, and look at yourself and grab your inward mirror, and if it's flawed, there's still more work to need to be done.
mhm,
Still work, and you won't be even sitting here talking about standards and you want this, you want that. If you take the list and look at each item as you look at it yourself and say, can I reciprocate what I'm actually asking? If you can, move forward. If you can't, go back to the woodshed.
yeah, exactly. Do the work. Don't expect people to be doing work that you're not doing yourself.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
when it comes to relationships, it's a two-way street. It's 50-50. What you're doing and what your um, list is, the characteristics that you look for, you should hold those characteristics as well. You should be communicative. You should have empathy. You should have compassion. Don't
Exactly.
expect you from somebody else if you can't be the you that you're giving, that you want them to be.
Exactly.
So,
But it's three after the hour. We want to thank you guys for actually hanging in there with Dee and myself. Shannon's a pro in these comments. Plus, actually, at the last minute, I implemented some new hardware and software for the new platform, but actually we're testing it out here tonight, so we did pretty good with it. So, Stream Deck, you're on point.
we will.
Checks in the mail. Appreciate
It's
it.
much smoother when she's doing the comics, but we will stumble through. And I
Exactly.
gotta fix my
Exactly.
lighting for next time. My camera doesn't like this lighting.
So appreciate your Stream Deck. This is some good stuff here, good hardware and great software. So it actually works with the platform. Good stuff. Any closing remarks, Dee, so we can get out?
Um, your list should be about characteristics, not and characteristics and capabilities, not monetary, materialistic things. If your list would be affected by them getting into a drastic accident or or a major disaster happening, you need to revamp the list.
You're in trouble. You're definitely in
Yeah,
trouble. You're definitely in trouble.
but keep shining, keep doing your work, and the person that is supposed to be your person, if there's supposed to be a person, will be arriving. Maybe you need to have a dog. Maybe your person's a golden retriever
Or a Labradoodle.
or a labradoodle. Yeah, you know. I hear Great
Stuff.
Danes are great couch potatoes, so it is what it is.
Exactly,
Sure.
exactly. So we appreciate you guys for always tuning into the conversation with Trent and friends. As always, we're gonna continue to bring you guys content to encourage you, to push you, to nudge you a little forward in life. We truly appreciate it. For Coach D and myself, along with Shannon, get well. Bring the lights on when you come back, Shannon. Bring the lights on. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday with part 2 of the standards and building a bear or a
Maybe
man or a woman. What'd you say?
I said maybe we'll go into more into the
Exactly,
attachment
exactly.
issues with standards.
Good
All right,
stuff. I'm with it.
I had to get the little man to bed. Love you guys.
Okay, you guys, love you too. You guys
Bye.
be epic until next time.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.